Oh, wait, no longer. Greatness has arrived. Welcome to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it is here where usually me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, you can listen to the show wherever you find your podcasts and the video version at the Trophy Room Show. If you like what you hear, please consider dropping us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts. You could plop us a follow and review us on Spotify, or if you really, really like us, you could toss us a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. So with all that said, and with all that out of the way, our guest co-host of the day, Mr. Luke Lohr of the Xbox Expansion Pass. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm the greatest that ever is and ever will be. And I'm doing great. Nothing?
Nothing.
By the way, when you're doing your intro, I tracked it for a good, solid 3, 4, 5 sentences. I was nailing it. I'm your host, Joseph. And that was where right after that, I lost it.
Yeah. That's fair. And you know what? I have you for another hour and 30 minutes at the least. But real talk, everybody. Kyle would love to be here celebrating the launch of Horizon, but he has a big bad stomach bug. We tried to record last night, and midway through, he's like, dude, I gotta stop. Oh boy. And I'm like, all right, don't worry about it. Listen, I want him to be better. So make sure everybody reach out at Mr. K Step on Twitter. Send him your love. Tell him your well wishes, all that stuff. And hopefully by next week, he's back here and we're talking about our experience with Horizon Forbidden West. And this week, man, it's a good week to be a PlayStation fan. There's a lot of good feels going on around the PlayStation community. And Luke, you're a good buddy of mine. You
Indeed.
Don't mess with PlayStation as much as I.
Correct.
But you've had to have had a little feeling with the little intro that, PlayStation teased with the new PlayStation productions. Have you seen that?
I have. Yeah. Amazing.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's such a feel good. And it capitalizes on what PlayStation has done so well, and that's tell stories. And it just makes you excited for stories they're going to keep telling.
Yeah. And now going into the silver screen, seeing Aloy be the first, person that you see, having Jin there because that movie's on the way. Nathan Drake. My biggest surprise of who was so prominent was Astrobot.
I did not take note of that mentally, and I need to rewatch it. I should have rewatched it, but right before we recorded, and I apologize. But Astrobot is a fantastic mascot. I think it's more approachable than Sackboy. For a number of reasons, but the journey that they've taken us on with Astrobot on the PS4 or PSVR and then PS5, they've got something special there with that character, and I hope they make use of it because he's so lovable. He's just lovable, and that world's honestly cool.
Yeah, the world's cool because it's just like a celebration of PlayStation, and I would love to see that little guy get his own show. Him or Sackboy get their own little Netflix show for the kids out there. That would be dope as all hell.
Especially given the quality of Netflix shows like Arcane, and now apparently Cuphead is very good.
Yeah.
I would love to see what they would do with an Astrobot series because it celebrates PlayStation. So are we just going to go on a greatest hits adventure?
Yeah.
What's the jam there? Is there a story? Because I want the greatest hits PlayStation adventure. That'd be fun.
Oh, absolutely. Now, Luke, people know us, because we feud on Twitter all the time.
We do. That's true.
I talk about romancing your mother. You try to be very polite with your disses. But we're good pals. And the reason why I brought you on this week was because Ains couldn't make it.
Right. Yeah. He said no. Ains said no.
So you were my second choice.
Just remember this, Ainsley Bowden of Seasoned Gaming, host of the Bitcast, our co-host on Cast Co-op, said no to you.
Yeah.
Said no to you. And this is my third podcast of the week, and it's Wednesday. So I'm here for you. Fourth, if you count Sunday, because I did XCP. So this is me giving my time.
And honestly, everybody, make sure you give your time over to Luke over at the Xbox Expansion Pass, because it is seriously one of, if not the best Xbox show out there. There's no fluff. There's no fanboy stuff. And there is a ton of awesome interviews with some great developers. I think you interviewed the Infernax crew last week.
Most recently was Infernax, and that game is great, not to be missed in a very crowded February for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know anything about Infernax?
Yeah, I've played a little bit of it, man.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
Yeah,
it's fun.
It's really good. It gives me classic like NES vibes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it just feels nice. Feels nice. That said, we also, a little bit of housekeeping before we break on into the news. Our winner for the Apple review giveaway is, drum roll please. That's my sound effect. MK Bog 87. Thank you so much for throwing your 5-star review out there. That is MKBAUG87. Make sure you DM me at Mr. Babbitt or just at me ASAP, and we'll get you a copy of Horizon Forbidden West. Also note that next week is our Elden Ring giveaway, and there are over 200 people that have thrown their hat in the ring, dropped us that 5-star review over on Spotify, and that one's going to be real fun to add all those names into that Excel sheet. So much fun.
Can I throw in on one thing real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Just because I should have run this by you, but I'm not gonna. If any of you amazing listeners are also Xbox fans and you've discovered XCP because of today's show, tweet at me and I'll enter you into a 3-month giveaway for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
No, how dare you use the G word on this show?
So I'm gonna do it. Game Pass Ultimate. It's right. So if you discovered me from this one, if you're like a new listener, let me know, guys, and I'll do a little RNG for you.
All right. How dare you?
I'll steal your thunder.
Last but not least, this show would not be happening if it wasn't for the amazing patrons over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. It's like we say each and every week, you are the ones that keep the lights on, keep the cameras rolling, and keep these mics sounding so good. Thank you so much for your patronage. So if we ever got you through a long car ride, a tough day at work, a rough situation, whatever the case may be, it really does help us out if you toss us a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. Just like our newest members, Chris Nunez, thank you so much, Chris. Can't wait to see you at the next PAX. And the Red Beast over at the Bronze Plus tier. I want to thank our gold members, Spam and Bammin, Too Soon, Gavin Gottfried, Jose Jimenez, Jedi Master Ren, Metal Kirby, Awesome Dave, Robbie Bobby Miller, Strubles and Bits, and Chaotic Monkey. I want to thank our Silver Plus members, Hide Indoors, Nakachaka, Marcus O'Neill, oh, it's just Ray, JB the Purple Monkey, Jadis Von Metal, Tim Off, Justin Rodriguez, Awesome Dave, Cypher Primus, Captain Logan, Todd Roper, Brendan Zachary, Kay Grimm, Rick Arrington, Dewane Raksha, The Good Sir, Trucker Sloth, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, Drellis, Foolish Fuji, Annie Day Now, Kevin Mitchell, Kevin Diaz, Manx Vigia, The Lord Corgi, Elo 2032, and Stephen Flesh. Thank you all for your amazing patronage. Again, we wouldn't be here without you. The list is getting longer. I don't know where to now put this list.
Yeah, you're going to set up some tier systems, but like, it's also dope. The list is getting longer, man.
I know.
It's awesome. It's really cool. It's really
awesome.
Cool.
It's a great
Kyle's
feeling.
doing a great job, honestly.
Yeah. He honestly,
Kyle and only Kyle. No one but Kyle.
Oh, I see where that dick came from. He got really bummed because he's like, Joe, because he likes to take things out on himself if he can't, like, if he's not able to do something. And I literally told him last time, like, dude, ain't on you. You're sick.
Yeah.
Go rest so we can hang out next week. It's fine. Now get out of my face.
All that makes sense.
Yeah, all of it makes sense. I'm a real trash boss. All right. Now, usually I have Kyle square up the news, but Luke, you're my guest. So I'm just going to make you do it.
Okay.
So it's time to square up the news, sir.
This news is coming in from, this is the first one, square up the news. Capcom Countdown has fans hoping for a Resident Evil announcement. This one comes from Jason Faulkner over at PS Lifestyle, and it reads, the official Capcom Twitter account linked fans to a mysterious countdown today. Unfortunately, the site containing the countdown doesn't have any hints as to what will happen when the timer runs down. However, the font used in the timer and a tweet from the official Resident Evil Portal account has fans hoping we'll see a new or remastered announced soon. The Capcom Countdown has a timer that will be concluded on February 21st at midnight Eastern Standard Time. Given that the font matches that used by Resident Evil series since that of Resident Evil 7, fans are thinking that the countdown will lead to an announcement of a new Resident Evil title or remaster at the very least. The Resident Evil Biohazard Portal official Twitter also posted a teaser that looks like the history page with the logo of the first 3 games in the series. Given that these classics aren't available on current gen platforms, it may be teasing that the remasters or at least ports of them are coming. What does Nagachaka have to say about this?
Well, you know what? Nagachaka writes in a great question, right? When Capcom announces that RE4 Remake is coming for 2023 and not 2022. Ooh, Nagachaka, the Fantasy League getting heated. I see what you're doing there. Do you want them to include the Ashley portion of the game where you get to play hide and seek? No. Should they remove that part so they don't have to throw lanterns at the enemies all over again? Great question, Nagachaka. If and when we get that RE4 remake, man, the Ashley portions just don't do it.
Yeah, they don't age well. They don't age well, and they should be taken out. And that's the benefit of a remaster: is you can tweak the formula, you can alter the formula, you can bring lessons of X amount of years of development, and that game really drags in that portion of the castle. And why not take it out and better streamline the experience for a better experience? Use that time to not work on that stage and make everything else better.
To me, I feel like I really did enjoy RE4 when I played it last year. But the problem with RE4 to me was the pacing towards the end. I was in the castle for way too long. And when I got to the end portion, I was like, oh man, we're still doing this? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, fine. To me, I do understand the critical appeal. That game coming out, 2004, fantastic. Mm-hmm. But yes, Ashley portions need to be done. That character needs to be reworked because, God, she was annoying. Yeah. But keep the part where I hide her in a dumpster and just leave her there.
It's funny because that was the difference for Resident Evil at the time. That was one of several gameplay differences that kind of set the game apart. And it was a cool idea, but it really does drag quite a bit of what happened there.
That being said, though, I got a question for you because, I don't think RE is getting teased here. I think this countdown lines perfectly with Street Fighter because they're having their little championship series over this weekend. So I think we're getting Street Fighter 6. What about you?
I don't know. Resident Evil seemed pretty active, and it seemed like there was stuff happening on the Resident Evil side. So I'm sticking with Resident Evil stuff. I do think Street Fighter 6 is due for an announcement soon. Mm-hmm. Part of me would expect that to be at a PlayStation Direct, state of play,
like in March.
Yeah, I feel like that's what's going to happen because the vibe is that Street Fighter 6 is going to be exclusive to PlayStation, just as Street Fighter 5 was, and it feels like that would be a state of play. Like we're exclusive on this platform. I feel like that platform would want that announcement. I think that would make sense as well. I do think it's Capcom just because how it lines with the championship series, and I think with RE you could actually put it in a state of play and have that be like the big reveal, the one last thing at the very end, because Street Fighter hasn't been that active for Capcom, and that game is winding down. So why not get the audience rejuvenated into the series again and reintroduced with Street Fighter 6? Do you think that Street Fighter 6 going to be exclusive? You think to PlayStation? I mean, the signs kind of point in that direction. I think that's a bummer. If I'm being honest, I don't like when big third parties go exclusive. I don't think it helped Street Fighter 5 that it was exclusive to PlayStation. I feel like that kind of let down. And when you want to have a healthy, gaming community, I mean, we've had a lot of discussions in the last few weeks about Call of Duty. Some would say too many, but
I would say too many too.
Yeah, and the consistent question we kind of go back to, in our own circles is: do exclusives matter? Do you want exclusives? How can they be used well? How are they used poorly? And I feel like for a fighting game community, you would want as many people as possible to have access to it. And so, I don't want it to be exclusive, but it looks like it's going that route. And I think Sony, they made some pretty strong ties with the purchase of Evo, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I think this is going to definitely be, exclusive. And whatever Sony's going to be picking up in terms of the next couple of months are probably also in that arena of fighting and competitiveness that way. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like with a series like Street Fighter, I do feel like it being multi-platform is going to help the brand overall more than it just benefiting PlayStation. So I would personally like it as well for it to be multi-platform so that more people get to play it, because it's not like it's a PlayStation Studios game. This game has been everywhere, and it should be celebrated everywhere. But again, that purchase of Evo, yeah, I think PlayStation really wants its foot in the fighting door arena. So that said, Rigo writes in, what are you more hyped for? Resident Evil 4 Remake, the next entry of Street Fighter, or Cyberpunk 2077 next gen update? Ooh, Rigo throwing in a future news topic. I like that.
Got it. Yeah, he's there. He's there. You go first on this one. What do you got?
I'm gonna personally say Resident Evil 4, because I love Resident Evil as a whole. I love what they've done with the remakes. I've loved 2 and 3. And I would love to see the improvements that they can make for Resident Evil 4 to put it not just like that extra coat of polish on it, but to see the modern controls in that game. I mean, it would be perfect at that part, because you still had the weird tank controls with RE4, and I feel like with the modern controls with the remakes, I think it just lines up perfectly. And so Resident Evil would be the one I'm most excited for. Then comes Cyberpunk, then comes Street Fighter, because y'all should see how bad I am at fighting games. Luke, is
it bad?
I'll watch the movies. Like, I'll go on YouTube and I'll watch it. I can barely jump and do a jump kick.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
I can't memorize the moveset. I'm the button masher everybody hates.
It's funny because you're the Dark Souls, the Sekiro guy. You're the one that can handle all the beast mode stuff, but platformers and fighters throw you for a loop, huh?
Can't do it for some reason. I'm a big dumb idiot.
They should put easy mode in Street Fighter. Sorry.
I mean, whatever they want.
Yeah. God forbid a developer make what they want.
Yeah.
I like this question, but it's very unfair because by default I have to pick Resident Evil 4. Sure. Really excited for this Cyberpunk update. Like, I bought it because of this update. It was on sale on Xbox for $30, so I bought it. Happy to support them now with my money in this round, for sure. So it's weird because Street Fighter, I loved Street Fighter 4, all versions of it. I played that religiously. I had a fight stick. I loved it. And when Street Fighter 5 was announced, something about the game didn't feel right. And I was on PlayStation, by the way, like for the beginning. Yeah, I was on PlayStation 4 for a good chunk of that gen and had the chance to go into Street Fighter 5, and it just didn't click. Something wasn't there for me, and I didn't pursue it past that. And now that I kind of main and do a lot of my gaming coverage on Xbox, it's kind of a null issue. Boo. So I'm Resident Evil 4 remake. I do agree with you. The remakes have been sublime.
Stellar.
Really love them.
Yeah. So with that, let's talk about Cyberpunk, Luke. So what's the next story on the list here, my man?
This one surprised everybody. Cyberpunk 2077's new gen versions and 1.5 patch are officially out alongside a free trial. The long-awaited new gen console versions out today. As of the time of this recording, they're out alongside a significant patch for existing platforms and last gen consoles, as well as PC. There is a trial available for 30 days until March 15th. The PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of Cyberpunk will feature a ray tracing mode, 4K resolutions graphic with dynamic scaling, faster loading, and a variety of other visual and technical improvements, according to CD Projekt Red. The versions are available today as part of either a new purchase or a free upgrade to owners of a PS4 or Xbox One versions of the game. Xbox users will download the new version automatically, but PS5 users will have to re-download the newer game. There's something to be said about in that one as well. Both Xbox Series X and PS5 versions of Cyberpunk have the 4K 60 frames per second performance mode and a 4K 30 frames per second ray tracing mode. Meanwhile, Series S will run at 1440p at 30 frames per second. Patch 1.5 will add fixes and improvements across all platforms, the developer said in a live stream on Tuesday, including a completely reworked perks tree, which is said to be significantly different than that of the ones that players had previously, and loading an existing game. The existing save will cause you to redistribute some of those perks. The perk tree changes are designed to make the combat more fair and remove less useful abilities from rotation. It said that adding new features such as knife throwing.
Ooh-wee.
I know. CD Projekt Red also said that it has made the world more active on new-gen consoles and PC, along with more NPCs and crowds that react to the player. For example, by engaging in combat, if a player pulls a weapon, vehicle traffic is said to be more realistic than it was in the base game.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, I watched that stream, by the way. It was a good stream.
Did you?
Yeah. Like Joe, you know when developers talk about their craft and they're excited about it and it gets you excited?
Yeah.
I never booted up Cyberpunk, really dismayed by how they handled themselves in that launch. That energy was infectious, and it was that reason that I was like, I'm buying the game at whatever price. They were so excited. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah. Now, this goes into actually Jadis Von Metal's question. He asks, I'm trying to stay off Twitter and podcast until Friday. I don't want to hear anything about Horizon until I play it myself. And just so you know, we will have our Horizon review towards the back end of the episode. So we're literally say goodbye to y'all, and then the review will start so that nobody gets spoiled. But also link down below in the time code down below so you could skip it. That being said, Cyberpunk got shadow dropped. What is it freaking fixed? Thanks, homies. And stay classy, San Diego. He'll read anything that's on that show notes. Okay. So why shadow drop it, man? This is pretty crazy.
It feels like very strange that they would choose now to do this. You've been gone for 15 months. It's been several months since the last update, which I believe was September of 2021. And the game came out 15 months ago. Why drop it in February amidst all this discussion around Elden Ring, around Dying Light 2, Horizon Forbidden West? I feel like there's one other big one that I'm forgetting. Sifu was the one I was forgetting for this audience. I mean, this is a packed month of games. And why you would choose to bring out essentially the new version of this is a bit surprising to me. What 16 months when you're at 15?
Yeah.
Why not just wait is beyond me. It's not like you're scared of Shadow Warrior 3, a game I'm very excited for, by the way.
Yeah.
It just feels odd. It's bad timing on their part. By the same token, they'd already made their money on this game. They refunded like less than 1% of the people that purchased it, so it didn't even blink when they refunded those for the people that needed it. It's now available on the PlayStation platforms in perpetuity, and this is good news for them, but it's odd timing for sure.
It really is. And so this actually kind of goes into Sean Capri's question. He says, "Hi guys, first time, long time." That's not true. You've asked questions before.
I know Sean Capri. We've worked together once or twice.
I know that, man.
You took me to E3, Joe.
Remember that?
So
how do you feel about Cyberpunk 2077 getting that surprise update? For me, I'm quite surprised because Horizon comes out in 2 days. Elden Ring, I'll be playing in a week. I ain't got time for this game. So I have it sitting on the shelf. I did play a good 40 minutes of it just to kind of see if there's any, hitches or anything like that. But I'm right there with you. Why February? Yeah. I don't know. You could have easily put this, I don't know, a couple weeks after the fact.
Yeah.
And then have people really excited. That being said, though, I don't think it's going to hurt them one bit.
Right.
I think it's on sale right now on the PSN and Xbox for $25.
Mm-hmm.
So people are going to just, impulse purchase it immediately. Mm-hmm. So I don't see the problem with them shadow dropping it. It's also, they promised, right? They were like, hey, beginning of next year, it will be out for you guys. Mm-hmm. And so by putting it in March, that hangs on Q2 a little bit. And so this is them kind of sticking to their promises to their fan base. And this is a great question. The last one from Sean. Does supporting the game now feel weird given its rough and deceptive launch? Does it feel weird? It kind of does for me.
I think it does too, and I understand and recognize and appreciate some of the naysayers to that argument, but I don't think that buying a game at half price on sale when they drop this is rewarding the negativity that it might have been if you had launched and steadfast, staunchly defended it when they had some really questionable review practices. They sent those codes out to outlets, only PC, restricted what they could show, restricted what they could say, didn't send console versions, told consumers that the console versions ran great and surprisingly well on PS4 and Xbox One. And it really was a deceptive practice, and they should be ashamed for the way that they handled themselves for that. In casting shame and frustration on them that is deserved, I think you also have to cast praise and appreciation for the goodness that they've done. And they really have not raised the price on this game. And I don't mean that weirdly. I mean, like, they didn't charge you for expansions, or they dropped some new missions in there. They reworked a lot of stuff that looks like they did a lot of very positive things for this experience. And for the 6 or 7 people that played it the first time around and had no bugs, this is going to be the better version, right? Like, a lot of people bought that game and they gave this update for free, as they should have, mind you. But there's new content in there. There's stuff coming on the way.
New weapons, new quests, new details on NPCs and yourself, customization options. Cars actually drive well.
I bought it. I bought it to finish. I had not bought it, and I bought it, Joe, to play after I'm done with Dying Light, and literally putting up another game on hold to play it because I'm excited to support them now with their endeavor here. So
now Sean Capri also says #yay Luke. That's not
my man right there.
Let's not give him too much praise. Let's not give him too much praise.
Go.
Toxic writes in, I've been personally holding off until the day that the PlayStation 5 version would come out, but I don't know if I'm going to touch it at all, or at least won't be for a little while due to the timing with the new games. Honestly, I'm dying to hear more about the PlayStation 5 upgrade for The Witcher. Do you guys have any guesses as to when we may hear about that? True, I am way more excited about the upgrades for The Witcher 3.
I am too. I mean, that's the game I put on hold as I was doing my next play. I did all my Witcher 3 on PS4, and so on Xbox, it's a new thing, right? Like, and it's been enough time that I don't remember anything, even the Bloody Bear, and I just finished that one, and I'm like, I forgot how great this was, and I'm very excited for that update as well. But to answer the question, should you dive in? Yes, you should grab it while it's on sale. Why not? You know, you're going to get to it. It looks like we're going to have a slow summer in terms of AAAs, and maybe even a slow holiday, unless you're really into Starfield. I don't think you're going to have much this holiday in terms of like exclusives on the Xbox front. And I don't think we've got any big AAAs that we know about other than Gotham Knights this year. Yeah. And maybe I don't think why not? Grab it while it's on sale. You're going to have time this year in the AAA space. I would say get it and rock.
Yeah, I think it comes out this summer. No questions asked. Yeah,
same.
And it'll be a free update as well, which is dope.
Is it free? I didn't realize that. I thought.
Oh, absolutely. Free. Yeah. Now, Katie writes in. So, with the Cyberpunk news this week, got me thinking. When I played through the game, I fell in love. There's a certain person who I could not stop thinking about, even when I wasn't playing the game. And that was the fine lady, Pan Am. So this leads me to my question. Are there any characters in gaming that you have fallen head over heels for and cannot stop thinking about? My wife, Judy, from Cyberpunk 2077. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. Head over heels for. I'm going to have to get back. I need to think about that one. I didn't see this question ahead of time.
Yeah.
Surely, yes. But I have to think about
Yennefer?
Triss all day.
Oh, you're Triss.
All day.
Okay.
Triss all day. In the game, absolutely Triss. I that's a good one. Thank you for bringing that one up. Yes.
Is Zack Snyder in a game, you think?
If he was, I'd be there. Anything for that man. Anything for that man. I'd do it. I'll be there. Whatever. I'll flip teams. I'm there. Pick me up, Zach. You mean pick you up? I'm there for it.
Anything for that Justice League sequel. You gotta love the dedication.
That's right. And oh gosh. Oh yeah. Don't get me started. I love it.
All right, then let's go on to this Horizon review roundup. You hot dog. I don't know. Whatever.
Right. You want this one?
Yeah, I'll take this one. I'll take this from here. Don't worry about it. You cool yourself down with the Zack Snyder talk.
He was my MJ.
Damn it. Simon Addy. Oh, sorry. This is our Horizon review roundup. Again, our review will be at the end of this episode. This is just give you a brief rundown of the top reviews for Horizon Forbidden West. Simon Addy gives it a 90 over at IGN. They say that it's a triumphant combination of an enthralling combat, top-tier creature and character design, and a captivating open world. Horizon Forbidden West is an absolute blast and a fantastic showcase of the power of the PlayStation 5. Sam Loveridge gives it a 4 out of 5. This comes from Games Radar. What Guerrilla Games has achieved here is nothing short of phenomenal. Story, gameplay, mechanics, and the world itself are all such an improvement on the original game, which in itself is a feat alone. And Kimberly Wallace of Game Informer rates it a 9.3 out of 10. She writes, Horizon Forbidden West reaches a new high bar for Guerrilla Games. It does more than surpass its predecessor. It takes on Horizon's fiction to captivating places and builds a rich world that rewards you for an effort you put into it. Overall, the game has been rated a 89 on Metacritic, but people aren't happy about it because it's the same rating that they gave the original game, an 89.
Joke's on you, PlayStation users. We got Flight Simulator well above 80.
Oh, damn. What's another one? Forza. Forza's got those cars in it.
That's right.
Man, you showed us.
Yeah, there's no way I can have fun with an 89. Can I tell
No way.
It's become a joke for us to make fun of those people, but I'm even sick of our joke of the joke. You know what I mean?
I know.
Like, shut up. Shut up. Like what you like. You know, we live in a world where anything's possible. It's possible. Including not commenting on an 89.
Yeah. And that's like on Twitter, I did not say anything about it because 89 is a great score. If it should say anything, maybe stop valuing Metacritic so much and maybe stop valuing the number so much either. It's really foolish because we should have been celebrating what has been a game that devs put a lot of tender love and care into, and it looks fantastic. Like, it looks phenomenal. And having the talk with Bobby from Console Creatures, I'm so excited to go pick it up from Best Buy on Friday. What say you? What do you read into your excitement levels for Horizon? I don't think you're buying it day one, right?
So here's the problem. First, let me say I tweeted this and I stand by this wholeheartedly in front of you, the world, and Zack Snyder. Sony continues to set the bar in third-person action games, in first-party action games. They set the bar every time. And every time I see clips of Horizon Zero Dawn, I'm like, the bar has been set. The standard has been raised. And to me, it just looks fantastic. You and I have talked, like, I did not enjoy The Last of Us, but the bar was set in storytelling, in graphics, in
animation.
Yeah, in so many things, voice acting. And the bar continues to be set by Sony first party when it comes to this. I think Horizon Zero Dawn looks amazing. I did not get into Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm sorry. Horizon Forbidden West looks amazing, but Zero Dawn I didn't get into because it was right at Breath of the Wild. And culturally, it was like pick one or the other. And I played a bit of Horizon, didn't click, was playing Breath of the Wild for 100 hours.
I feel you.
And, you know, like respect to both those games. And then I tried to go back to Horizon and I just... The timing never worked out. That's all it was. Forbidden West, my friend, that game looks so beautiful, so cool, so impressive, and you really have to praise Guerrilla for the world they created, and what they've done. And that's just something I hope that more studios, not first party, even just studios in general, can replicate. They've got Rocksteady magic, dude. I
mean, I saw them when I saw it's on Twitter everywhere. Like her grappling onto one of the animals or on it, I was just like, "What? It's like the world that they've crafted is stunning. It's stupid gorgeous." Now, the Green Gorilla Gamer writes in, so now that we're into February, with 3 of the biggest releases so far, with Dying Light 2, Horizon Forbidden West, and Elden Ring, do you think that some of these larger games are going to get backlogged by a lot of gamers? Or do you think there's too much hype around them that everybody is going to jump on them as soon as possible? I was so sad to see a lot of people fall out of Sifu so quickly after its release. That game deserves nothing but love. Now, Green Gorilla Gamer, here's the thing though. Sifu sold 500,000 units on PlayStation on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC. So the game did really well, especially for an indie studio. But I do understand what you're saying here, because there are some games where I have to balance Elden Ring and Horizon. Two games that I love.
Yeah. Even if it's not genre, it's time. You only have a finite amount of time.
Yeah. How am I going to pull this off? I don't know. But there are going to be people that are going to choose one or the other. It is surprising, though. I've seen on a lot of people's like not scientific at all, but like some polls where it's like, what are you going to be getting, Horizon or Elden Ring? And the polls are a lot closer than what you would think it would be. Like I actually saw Horizon win in one of the IGN polls, which maybe that's skewed, but nonetheless, it's impressive to see that one title kind of hold its own a bit. So yeah, dude, I am so excited. That being said, though, I do want to say that a quick little aside, Hoglaw over at Bitcast and Hoglaw over on Twitter did criticize Sony for some deceptive marketing towards Horizon's free PlayStation 5 upgrade. They did not fix this until actually I think Hogue pointed it out. It was caught by VGC as well, and it caught fire on the internet. That is that if you were on PlayStation 5 and you go to pre-order the game, it's $70. Now, this comes months after PlayStation said they'd honor their word and, only charge you the PlayStation 4 price, which is $59.99. But the only way to get it digitally for that price up until just now is to go buy it on the mobile app or go buy it on PC. So it's Sony being really shady there. And we have to, while we're giving, Horizon its flowers, we also got to be critical of the rollout of this game as well.
Absolutely. And that's the biggest thing. And there's two things that our friend Zanes would say. There's a lot to unpack here. For all the praise that's being passed towards Horizon, the plea that I would have towards any consumer here is hold them accountable and let them know your frustration. Reward the good behavior as well, right? But that was really deceptive and shady the way they handled that. And it was uncool amidst a group that handles first party really well. Yeah.
It just goes to show like what people are willing to take from a corporation as well. Like you just see Nintendo just go, so all those previous games on Wii U, we're just gonna kill the store. So go download the game right now, or whatever. Bye-bye. Right. And then them even acknowledging, we're not that great at preservation, nor do we care, and then kind of walk away. And people are criticizing them, but what is that actually amounting to? Not a whole lot of nothing.
Not much. Not if you reward them with dollars. And Sony, man, they've really botched the delivery of last gen to this gen content. And something that I wouldn't have thought, like back way years ago, I remember you and I talking, and I was like, I don't think smart delivery really matters. It feels like buzzwords.
Yeah. Ooh. And now it matters.
It matters so much. Yeah. So much. I did not see that happening at all. And they should be criticized for that. They should be criticized for deceptive marketing there. Big picture, not a big deal. Easily fixed. But hold them accountable. Whereas, inflammatory posts on Twitter don't do anything, but dollars held or respectful things, constructive criticism, those are the right ways to do it. But can I answer the original question that was there as far as like, will the games get drowned out? The answer is yes, they will. And I would cite recent precedents in the Xbox community. Forza Horizon posted 18 million recently. Wow, Halo posted 20 million. But man, we were all in on Forza Horizon 5. That game is fantastic. To anyone that hasn't tried it, it's so good. But man, the moment Halo's multiplayer hit, the conversation shifted. Even if it was growing Forza playership, the conversation was all Halo. Yeah. And it's a shame because they ate their friend's lunch by accident, because you wouldn't have thought they would overlap in terms of gameplay type, but it really did.
I definitely think that was a test of, hey, what can we do with this service? Like bringing out live service games close to each other. Like I think it was a bit of a scientific, like curious little test that they knew wouldn't hurt them probably at all. And how would it benefit them? I think that was like a little case study they were probably doing.
I think you're probably right. And they're probably examining that 2 years out from when their full cadence hits, because now they're at 30 studios. And, in 2 years, they're going to start having a major hit per quarter or more. And they've got to figure out where and how to balance it. But if they ate each other's lunch, I can only imagine what's going to happen with a Sony first party, a major third party with Elden Ring.
Never heard of it.
And another first party on the way in March with Gran Turismo. So it'll definitely happen. And save your dollars if you want to save them, and support devs when you're able to. Sales are my friend when it comes to that stuff. If it's not in Game Pass, sales.
Yeah. Besides PlayStation, that's now dead.
Yeah, 89, there's a little 89 Metacritic.
89, that means it's dead. We also have to talk about how Martha is dead. Take it away, good sir.
I got distracted. They were very loud. Somebody was very excited about his truck outside my window.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really, really proud of it.
He needed to let you know about it, huh?
Yeah, it did. I live in the South, man. All right, gory mystery thriller Martha is Dead will be censored on PlayStation, according to devs. This comes from Ryan Gillum over at Polygon. Martha is Dead is an upcoming first-person thriller developed by LKA and Wired Productions and won't have parity across its versions. While the Windows PC and Xbox versions of the game will launch as the developer intended on February 24th, the PlayStation versions will be altered for content. Wired Productions revealed the change of plans via Twitter on Friday, just 2 weeks out from release. It is with regret that we've had to modify the experience on PS5 and PS4 versions, with some elements no longer playable, the developer said on Twitter. After over 4 years of passion and hard work, developer LKA now required extra time to make these unplanned changes, end quote. While the game will hit its scheduled launch day on all platforms, the physical versions of the game for PS4 and PS5 are delayed. There will be no delay for the physical or digital versions of the game on Windows PC or Xbox Series X. There is a graphics clip circulating on social media that makes players uncomfortable. The clip involves slicing a dead woman's face off, first on the right side, then on the forehead, then on the left. The clip shows the player lifting the severed face off of her head just before it cuts. Oh, man, I got a lot of thoughts here.
Yeah. First off, shout out to Graham, who's in our DM, who sent me that DM of the clip that I didn't want to see. So, Graham, thank you for being a bad friend. Because I don't like horror is not my favorite genre. I like a good suspense. I don't like gore. I don't watch Hostel. I don't watch Saw. I don't like gore porn. I think it's disgusting. I don't think it's artful. All that stuff. It's not.
And if you like it, you suck, is what he told me. That's what he told me.
Yeah. Like our friend Ains. He says he watches those movies to feel alive. Which is
that's really odd.
It's really strange. It's really worrisome. And he makes this feel like weird little sound too, and it's like really, it's uncomfortable. Yeah. Anyway,
you had a rally to be at. That's why we recorded Cast Co-op at a different time this week. Yeah.
He said he had to get into his truck. He had a convoy to meet.
Yeah, some convoy border. I don't know. Something.
That being said, I don't like this news. Not because, look, I was never gonna buy this game. This studio just got a ton of PR for them. Good for them. But you shouldn't be censoring anything. Like, if you're allowing this into your store, then it's that game, right? So if you went through certification on this game, and then all of a sudden PlayStation was like, we don't want that. Well, that sucks, because you literally let them into your ecosystem, and then 2 weeks before the game's about to come out, they're like, and you got to take rid of this and get rid of that. And to me, it's beyond localization, because, real talk, in World War II games, when you're fighting Nazis, they have the swastikas on their arms, right? In Germany, because that symbol is banned over there, they have a different symbol. But to me, this isn't localization. This is literally PlayStation saying, no, we don't want that, so edit it or get rid of it. They've done this with Devil May Cry and a few JRPGs as well along the way, obscure titles. But this kind of sucks. This should be the way they intended it, even if I don't like what they're doing.
It's such a hypocritical, pathetic excuse of behavior on their part, and it's really frustrating. This is the studio that at one point had Hellblade being as an exclusive, a game that is just that'll mess you up, man. If you're not ready for Hellblade, it can mess you up, and you're carrying around your husband's head next to you on your hip. This is the studio that. This is the I'm saying studio, I should say publisher, but Sony's allowing this on their platform.
I mean, you can literally take a shiv to a person's neck and slice her right open.
Yeah, in the first Last of Us.
Yeah.
They forced me to
blood curdle. It's gross.
And they forced me to mow down doctors trying to save humanity. They forced me to do that. So it just feels very strange and hypocritical and an odd random thing. Now, unless there's something we don't know. If it's not the face part, what is it?
Yeah.
But that doesn't excuse censorship. The moment you start a censorship route, it's a very slippery slope, and I hate that. I'm a teacher, and I'm watching things get banned to be taught in schools as critical race theory, and people start going through and whitewashing history even more than it's already been. And that's terrifying to me when censorship starts. So I do not want that to happen. I would ask and beg and plead that you make your voices appropriately heard on this one. You don't buy the game if you were never going to buy it. I was never going to buy it. To me, it's not about that. It's about not censoring things on your platform. Put the appropriate warnings up if you need to.
Yeah.
Sure. Put an extra
or just
warning
don't
up.
allow it on your platform to begin with, but to have it at the very end is bullcrap. And I like what you said, because honestly, you should have the right to say, to do, to read something or see something, watch something that you may not agree with, or you think is abhorrently wrong, or that you think is objectively right. You know what I mean? So, to have this 2 weeks before this game's supposed to come out, edited and watered down, it's a bummer. It really sucks.
And you tie the devs' hands that way, because they could have just canceled their PS4 and 5 versions 2 years ago. But now you're saying, all right, and this is what you have to do. And it's like, well, how do we recoup our costs? It's not like Martha is Dead was ever going to be like the 10 million mark. And so like, I hate it for those devs. And it's just, from everything I know at this point, unless something new comes to light, morally wrong, it feels like.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, nothing really more here, but it's something that I feel like we needed to elaborate on. And honestly, I think PlayStation should go back and rectify this, because it's more work, more crunch, more everything for stuff that you do. I mean, God of War, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
All of them.
Watch people. Yeah. In the old ones, you
rip
played
a guy's
through
head
sex
off.
seasons, and then sex sessions, and then you ripped off God's heads and blood poured it just seems odd. Like, where's the line in Modern Warfare 2? What, you mowed down civilians?
Yeah.
And that was
if they were, here's the thing though, if they were like in, no Russian, right? Call of Duty gave you the out. They're like, hey, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. If PlayStation was just like, hey, could you add like this in here? Like a little, hey, this scene might be a little bit too much, but click X or click circle to get in or out of it. All right. But to just say no, edit it out fully, that sucks and that's shitty.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Time for some Flash news. I got this, Luke. Don't worry about it. PlayStation and Lego collab with Horizon Forbidden West Lego set. This comes out May 2022, priced at $80. Dude, this looks dope.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I'm going to be spending some money on Legos. It's been a long time coming. Awesome. I'm excited. The next one, Plant and Play Initiative. Earn and reach the Daunt Trophy in Horizon Forbidden West, and they will plant a tree. Isn't that nice?
It's lovely.
It's really nice. Here's a good one. Here's a meaty one.
Okay.
A Bioshock movie is coming out. It's in the works. Here's a quote from Netflix themselves. They say, "We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us." Bioshock. Sorry, Netflix plus Bioshock. Would you kindly stay tuned? Netflix and Take-Two Interactive are partnering to produce a film adaptation of the renowned video game franchise, Bioshock. Famous Seamus writes in, given the Netflix Bioshock news, what do you want to see? A show or a movie? And who would you like to direct it? I got this one immediately.
All right, let's hear it.
Guillermo del Toro was supposed to direct a Bioshock movie. He was supposed to direct it, but the pitch, it was just too much money. It was going to be like a Waterworld Part 2 type of production. I want that. And to see The Shape of Water, I feel like you could get that tone perfectly. So give me this. I am so hyped because this is something I've been wanting for so long. I'm such a huge Bioshock stan. So I'm all in, man. What about you? Who would you like to see? Are you excited about this? All that stuff.
Honest to goodness, I think that's a great choice in having Guillermo del Toro. And I'll always go show over movie.
Yep.
I think you have a better chance to tell more story with more time. My favorite movie, as we joked, it's 6 parts and it's 4 hours long. it's better handled as a show. If you handle that as a show, it's just easier to digest. And The Mandalorian is a good example of that.
That's right.
Better story, more drawn out, more explained in a more thorough way. And what could you do if you had a great budget for like a 10 episode series, 8 episode series? That's 8 hours of Bioshock content. It to me is better than 2.
Yeah.
You know?
I can't wait to see you, Big Daddy, in live action.
I'll be there in a minute. Give me a second.
Yeah.
You get it because I was Big Daddy there.
Oh,
yeah. That was the joke. Just flew right over your head there.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's a good one. I'd also love to see what Rian Johnson could do with it, man. His take on and visuals.
Ooh.
With visuals, it would be really neat to see him kind of handle something on that scale. That weird. He can handle weird, I think.
That and like Bioshock is all about like
the subtlety.
Subtlety, but like dissecting Ayn Rand's vision. You know,
think about Knives Out, man. How many clues did he give you?
Exactly.
Think about that in a Bioshock.
That is really good. I really dig that. Yeah, I like that. This arouses me greatly. All right, here's one that I don't want to go on too long because I think the audience knows how I feel about this. But Platinum Games is open to being acquired if it's guaranteed freedom. This comes from Zamina Khan over at PS Lifestyle. Platinum Games' new president and chief executive, Atashi Abita, has told Video Games Chronicle that he'd be open to the idea of being acquired as long as the studio is guaranteed freedom. He made his comments after he was quizzed about the consolidation seen in the games industry recently by Activision's acquisition of Microsoft's acquisition. Nonetheless, why Platinum Games wouldn't turn down acquisition offers. Quote, what I hear about the recent acquisitions, I don't think Microsoft is going to start micromanaging Activision to where they take away their freedom, ... I don't think it's going to be a relationship like that, Abita told VGC. I think there's going to be a lot of mutual respect there, and I think Activision will be able to continue doing what they do best. And that's also what's most important to us at the end of the day, whatever form that takes for us in our company. So I wouldn't turn down anything as long as our freedom was still respected. Now, Spammin' Bammin' writes in and he asks, hey guys, in a recent article, Platinum Games' new president and CEO said that they would be open to the idea of being acquired as long as they're guaranteed freedom. My opinion is that Platinum Games would be a huge asset for any publisher. Also, would make it an easy acquisition for Xbox that's been eyeing the Japanese market for some time. But with Sony standing in Japan, do you think Sony would let PG go to its competitor? Can I say something very, very controversial?
All right, just between you and me.
Yeah.
Just you and me. Speak your truth. Speak your truth.
Platinum Games is not that good. We have to give up. Yeah, thank you. I know. We have to really just like give up the chase that like this is they're a great studio because like yeah, sure they have Bayonetta. Okay, sure they have Bayonetta, and that series is great. Was it Vanquish as well? And Nier
Automata. Yeah.
Chef's kiss, but they are so hit and miss when it comes to their games. Like, look at Babylon's Fall right now. Oh boy. So like to me, they are this studio that could either make gold or make coal. And you know, to me, I just don't see them as this on the level of like, let's say a From Software, where it's like, if I had the money, I would throw it all at From. But to me, this also kind of reads Platinum is in a very vicarious situation. Like, I don't think they're doing that great. And I think they know that they've had a couple of hits and a couple of misses in some games that didn't sell as well as they'd hoped. They got 10-cent money for a reason. And when they're talking about quotes of like, we want our games to be live services or be enjoyed for longer periods of time, it's telling you something. I think they're shouting that out as kind of a, hey, if anybody wants, we're here.
This felt like a cry for relevance.
Yes.
It really felt frustrating. And then they did something very similar this past week with Scalebound in the Xbox community. Like, Phil, we want to make it. Phil, we want to make it. And I feel like this pops up every few months. And to the Scalebound thing, You have to remember this was an Xbox at the time in 2017 that was desperate for content, and they shut it down. They were desperate for content, and they shut it down. The word is now that we're hearing, it seems like they might have misused some funds or funneled it. I think that's unconfirmed, but you got Jez Corden, whose track record for all things considered are pretty solid when it comes to sharing this stuff. Man, Platinum's a weird one, and if they are saying that they're open to being acquired, they've been open for a while.
Yes.
That means they've already been looked at. People have looked at them.
People have evaluated them.
Correct, and found them wanting, and that's a Knight's Tale reference. But it's really frustrating when you see a team that has produced some great stuff, but when you see them kind of yelling out into the void, asking for attention one way or another, it strikes me as unprofessional. And it sucks because I wanted to see Scalebound too. I wanted to see some of their amazing games that they could have created. And more often than not, we're getting Korra and Ninja Turtles and the bad Transformer game. And it's frustrating.
Uncharted movie reviews. They're in. They're not great. Who would have guessed? But the box office is seemingly positive. Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg led the Uncharted movie to release in 15 countries outside the United States, where it's already ranked $21 million in opening weekend. Their goal was $20 million opening weekend, so they exceeded it by a little bit. Just a heads up. If you want to see it, it's open. It's there. I think it's like a 47 on Rotten Tomatoes. How better is Justice League, do you think?
On what, Zack Snyder's Justice League? That's really high. It's really highly rated.
Oh, is it really high?
Like the second highest movie of all, or superhero movie of all time, I believe.
All right, good for them. What about Josh Whedon?
Dark Knight and Dark Knight only. Oh, he can rot in hell. I hate him.
I know he's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit. Yeah. Hey, Uncharted, God bless you. You finally got made. Poor Tom Holland, man. He's going to be Spider-Man his whole life. And, we're always going to see him as that. And he's not getting taller. And that's not helping him because he's a boyish face. He's got a young face. I think that's why he's growing his hair out. I hate it for him, honestly, because he just doesn't look the part of Nathan Drake. And I have not seen the film. He might have crushed it. I
hear, I'm actually hearing from people that have seen it. They're like, actually, it's pretty damn good.
Cool.
So it's a fun action flick. I think I may see it, but probably not in a theater anytime soon.
As I say, this doesn't feel like I'll risk my life for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, I'll risk it for the biscuit when it comes to Batman.
Yeah.
But
open mouth, breathe in my face during the Batman
for 3 hours.
That's right.
Was it Matt Reeves?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Have you seen? Real talk. Have you seen the vanity cover of Zoe Kravitz and what's his name? Guy that's playing Batman. Robert Pattinson. Oh my God. I've never wanted to watch two people have sex more in my life than them right there.
But have you seen Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill? You know what? Never mind.
I mean, listen, Henry Cavill could toss me around like that PC built, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying the sexual tension between those two, palpable. And I want to watch 3 hours of it. The movie and that,
I'm looking this up. I want to see this.
I'll send it to you afterwards.
Thanks, man.
So
Thanks. I see. Okay.
Yeah, I'm really happy that. I'm happy that Zoe Kravitz is getting her due though, because I have been in love with her for years now.
Was she in The Joker? Was that her?
No, that was Zazie Beetz. I'm also in love with her.
Okay, all right. Mm-hmm. All right. They favored, so I wasn't sure. But man, let me just go back to Uncharted real quick. Sure. It sounds like a rental on a good day.
Yeah.
That's a rental on a good day.
It'll be on Netflix in a couple of months.
Yeah. And all right.
Fun.
Okay.
Yeah. I bet it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fun. They got
a Marky Mark in there fighting a Transformer.
Oh.
Do it.
I think it's Transformer. Say hello to your mother for me. Oh my goodness. Also, by the way, this is just a little update, breaking news from Twitter. Last of Us is aimed at 2023, not 2022. So let's see if we'll see the Last of Us remake or Factions this year. Maybe that's pushed back to line up with the show.
Is that HBO Max?
That's HBO.
Okay.
Just HBO. Yeah. They got to fix the naming conventions of those services. Anyway, Sega and Paramount start work on the third Sonic the Hedgehog movie and a Knuckles Paramount Plus show. So, Sonic rated higher than Uncharted.
Sonic's a great movie.
It's actually
It's a legitimately really good movie.
But we got to stop pretending that like Sonic's a great platformer.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I don't like the stands that are coming out going, Sonic's always been great. It's never been that great.
Nah, he's hit and miss.
Yeah.
And when he hits good.
Yeah. You get a Sonic Mania, but then you also get Sonic Booms. So come on. Hey, Luke, are you holding on to something?
I'm holding. Are we about to...
Prepare the drop. Here are the latest PlayStation games headed to the PlayStation storefront this week of February 20th. Okay. Can You Escape for PlayStation 4? Heart of the Woods on PlayStation 4. Valentine Candy Break 2. That sounds like an easy plat. That one's, yep. I see you. On the 15th, you got Cyberpunk 2077, Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. On February 17th, you got King of Fighters XV, so 15. Oh my goodness, it's been that many. On PS5 and PS4, Voice of Cards, The Forsaken Maiden on PlayStation 4. And last but not leastly, Horizon Forbidden West on the PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 as I live and breathe.
Oh, God.
Can't wait. All right, and now it's time for the Sony Pony Express. Yeah, it's fine. That was only me. That's fine. Can have a little yeehaw.
As an ex-bot, I don't know. Is this in my yeehaw?
There you go. Got it. You got the Southern twang in there too. Back out.
Yeah.
Jadis Von Metal writes in. Are you guys going to finally battle? I want to hear a full-on hair-pulling, teeth-chopping, eye-gouging fight for the ages.
I'll take this one.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, just Von Metal. Here's the thing you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We make love.
Oh.
The same way that we battle.
Oh.
And it sounds just like that. All those things.
That's true.
And we were going to do that in perpetuity, but we were worried Sony would censor us.
That's right.
So it's like,
And spoiler alert, Luke kisses like his mother.
Oh my, that's my mother.
That's his mother.
That's my mother.
I really do love the beef that we have on Twitter. That's like obviously fake, but then people like comment
every
like,
now and again. Every now and
really
again,
don't like each other, huh?
Every now and again, you get people that like messages like, "Whoa, it sounds like you're being a real fanboy." And it's like, all right, calm down, Twitter user 0968 eggshell for a profile picture, 2 followers, Russian bot concept. Like, knock it off, knock it off.
God, you love to see it. No, I love that. And what's the other one? What's the other one? There when we get comments of do we really hate each other? No. We're friends.
We play games almost every day. And during the first year of the pandemic, we did buds. Every day.
And trust me, next week I'm going to say nothing but praises of how good of a friend Luke Laura is. Like one of the best.
Yay!
You know, that was literally one of the best acts of kindness. Real talk. When we could talk about it, I literally was getting emotional at that moment.
Oh, that's right. Okay, now I'm talking about
power of friendship. So you know, it was. Yeah, we're just joshing around. Yeah. The other thing, and oh my God, it just left my brain. When we're beefing, as one person commented, Luke, you're kind about it because you have a front-facing job, and for me, I am like no holds bar. I'll see
that it is uneven publicly.
It's so uneven. It's hilarious. Oh God! All right.
Don't worry, everybody. When we have private chat, that's quite fun. It's all we've been playing Fortnite lately. We got back into that. That's a good game, by the way.
It is.
It's our buddy Kevin. Just knock it off.
Knock it off. You're not better than us.
The game's legit good. It's just, it is. We get pretty vile in that one.
Yeah. Here's the thing. That question activated the winner gamer. It's been so long, good sir. And congratulations on being a papa. Also too soon. I believe is also a papa. All these dads coming in here, being a part of this community. Look at that. Do you think Sony should be more accommodating to players by offering all types of controller support for remote play, or even Spartacus? My Razer Kishi doesn't work, so I end up not picking my PlayStation 4 as much because, I can't be in front of a console like I used to be. Absolutely. You should be able to pick up any controller. Yeah, that's the one thing
with
about
your PlayStation?
Yeah. Okay. Like when you're remote playing, it should not just be the Dual Shock or the Dual Sense, because like I get it. It is a little weird. I played, what is it, xCloud, which isn't that great. You guys need to really settle down with it. But
I like it.
But I was playing it on my DualSense or my DualShock. I was like playing Halo with it. I'm like, oh my God, we're getting close to that future that I want. Mm-hmm. And I would like the same for PlayStation because I have this Backbone controller for my iPhone, and I want to use it for remote play, and it won't let me.
Right.
So yeah, no, it needs it. It needs it so bad.
So I agree with you for Spartacus. Like have any controller for Spartacus, as DualShock is supported by xCloud. Spartacus needs to do the same with Xbox controllers. Although I feel like some of them use proprietary. But the point is, it needs to be as available as possible on any type of subscription cloud-based service. Yeah. On the device, I love the idea of everyone being able to play however they like. I wonder if they wouldn't hold back when it comes to PS5 because they want you to use the DualSense for like maximum PS5-ness. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they won't consider that and what they would choose. I feel like we're a month or so away from hearing about Spartacus.
Yeah, I think we're a month or so away. I think it really depends on how close that big acquisition is. That's what I personally think. If that big acquisition is close, then it's March. Or sorry, then it's probably pushed back to April or May. But if that next acquisition isn't until April or May, I think you'll get the reveal of Spartacus in March. And I just need to hold, like, there are people like, it needs to be day and date. It needs to be this. It needs to be that. I really still I would like it to be. And I keep flip-flopping on this fence. But I'll say right here, right now, it's going to be Disney Plus. Think of it like Disney Plus. They're going to use that catalog. And if I'm PlayStation, I am going to acquire publishers and developers that are going to fill that service with content because that's what's going to be king. We have a whole cast co-op link to Season Gaming's YouTube channel all about this, where Luke, myself, and Ainsley Bowden talk about it in depth. Big loser. Big loser. That said, last question comes from Una. Hey guys, I'm getting my question for the podcast on Thursday. So Thursday night, I'm finishing up Dragon Age Origins and move to the expansion Awakening. And let's just get this out of the way. Anders is in my party. Thank goodness, Una. And I'm loving every minute. My heart is happy because of it. So my question is for this week when the time is limited for you to play a game, do you try to do side content that you enjoy doing or just blast through the main story? I'm at the moment in my life where gaming has been limited due to college. Oh God, I understand that so much, Una. The struggle is real. Anyway, I'm sorry. I was getting like flashbacks of like a big project I have to do, but then it's like lining up with an awesome release of something I want to play. And Awakening. I've been doing some side content that I've been wanting to just blast through on the main story. So where do you guys stand? Because I feel like this happens to a lot of people due to real life. Luke, you teach kids.
I do.
And yes. Believe it or not, by the way you read these notes, you teach them English.
It's true. Bazinga.
How do you handle it being full-time work? And your work's been crazy recently.
Yeah, it's been rough.
Crazier than usual. How do you prepare? How do you do it?
I mean, you make sacrifices, you choose, and as a content creator, sometimes we get codes early, sometimes we don't. And that sometimes dictates what I play. Mm-hmm. But in large part, what's going to bring you joy is the only way to do it. And otherwise you're playing for the wrong reasons. You're missing out. The only game that I pushed myself to play before spoilers could happen was Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
And beyond that, and the secret is, I don't think spoilers are that big a deal compared to what the internet makes them. I still, the moment I found out that Andrew Garfield was in Spider-Man, and he is, I'm not sure if you saw that poster.
Yeah. And we could, real talk, we could say it now. It's literally in the promotionals. It's literally in the trailers. It's literally in every magazine. If someone asked me like, oh, I didn't know. Dude, how did you not know?
Right.
And then even just for years, it's been known.
Yep.
And if real talk, if they don't say no in an interview, it's happening.
Yep.
They didn't say no in the interview. People, knock it off. Knock it off. That's all I'm saying. Fame outrage.
whatever.
It beat Avatar. So if it beat an Avatar, you missed out. All right.
To make sure I don't lose my spot because I'm gonna lose it.
Yeah.
It's just play what makes you happy. Don't rush through to miss out or burn yourself out and not enjoy something that you are enjoying. But take a little bit longer to beat your game. Take a little bit longer and enjoy it. What's the point of it if you're not enjoying it?
Exactly. That's right.
That's my statement on that one.
That's what she said.
Who?
Yeah. No. For me, Yuna, the college experience was something for me, and I remember there were like times where I needed to like write a final essay or whatever, a thesis, and I'm like, oh man, but like this game is here, it's coming out, and what I would do is I use the game as the reward. So I'm like, I'm setting this goal for myself. If I get this to this point with my paper or this point with my project, I'll then, I'll then stop and then play that game as a reward. Mm-hmm. But to me, it really is like having a job, having games then to play to cover. And it really just comes down to, playing the games you want to enjoy. So like, there are times where like, we're playing a game that we really love and, a few days from now is the next big release where you have to make that call. So like, for example, Horizon comes out on Friday, Elden Ring comes out next week. I'm going to have to play Horizon and ignore my beloved Elden Ring until Elden Ring is ready for me. Mm-hmm. So it probably won't be until March, realistically.
That's gonna hurt.
And to me, it's just like, okay, well, it's a From Software game. It'll probably come out a little buggy, a little glitchy here or there. So by the time I get to it, it's probably going to be all patched up. But I also know in my heart of hearts, I'll juggle the two a little bit. But Horizon's going to be my main squeeze because not only do I have this PlayStation podcast to cover, but it is the game that I fancy more. So that's how I do it. It's just planning out, rewarding yourself. And when it comes to just blasting through the main story or whatever, I usually treat games like a month-long event. Like I'm just playing this game for X amount of weeks.
Right.
And that's all I play. I usually don't juggle that much, but only when like the downtime do I juggle.
Yeah, so, that's fair. Yeah. That's fair. I do not envy PlayStation owners this month. I'll tell you that.
No, it's been busy, man. It's been busy. That said, before we get into the Horizon review that we did with Console Creatures Bobby, which was a fantastic interview. And I get it. It's very surface level. There are no spoilers, but I understand there are people that do not want to get spoiled whatsoever. So I'm going to literally feign end the show here for people that don't want to or want to miss out on it. And for anybody that are interested, keep on listening to the show. But Luke, it's been fantastic having you on. Thank you for coming in on such short notice.
Yeah, man. I had to return the favor. You've bailed me out on XCP more than once, and I appreciate it. And it's always fun to talk games. Like we do it over on Cast Co-op, and it's a blast. And so it's good to do it here too.
Yeah. So. Either though you were my fourth choice, this was a fun experience.
I'll take it, man. I'll take. And who was here for you? Who was here for you? That's right. It tells you what other people think of you, Joe.
That's true. That's true. Right. Ains.
Right.
That being said, though, when like because Kyle sometimes gets a little sick. He's under the weather. And when I think about like, who do I need as a guest? I can't just have like a random, like new guest. Cause that's a new person that I got to learn their rhythm.
Right.
I can't do that, man. I can't. So this feels nice. Cause we're going to probably do this on Fortnite anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. That's exactly what we're going to do.
So with all that said, with all that out of the way, everybody keep it what's about you. Keep hunting. Oh, sorry. And you can find me over at Mr. Badbit. You can find the show over at PS Trophy Room. You see my brain's now done. And make sure you review the show 5 stars on Spotify. You only have a few days left to do it for our Elden Ring giveaway. And now, with all that said, and with all that out of the way, everybody keep your wits about you, keep hunting, and keep playing PlayStation. See you guys. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Trophy Room Reviews Horizon Forbidden West. I am your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and alongside me, the managing editor over at Console Creatures, Bobby. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm really happy to do this with you.
Of course. And I want to thank you for coming in last minute and saving my butt because you are the one that played Horizon Forbidden West. I've got a ton of questions for you because just like everybody else, we are so excited to get our hands on Horizon Forbidden West. This is this is something we've been waiting for since it's been announced, since the PlayStation 5 has been revealed. This is PlayStation's first true flagship since Miles Morales. This is their first big budget game. So let's get right into it. First and foremost, there is no spoilers. If you're on the video version, what you're looking at is all the state of play and promotional material. So there's nothing to get spoiled here. We're going to get very surface level. And what we're going to do is just tell you where it's improved or maybe where it falls short from the original. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the story of Horizon Forbidden West, because the one thing that I've been hearing about this game, Bobby, is a lot of people alluded to The Witcher 3 in scope when it comes to the world and when it comes to the story of this game. And as much as I loved the original Horizon, I know that there was some pacing issues, whether it was in a little bit of the beginning and a little bit of the middle. But really, to me, I loved it wholeheartedly. Is this story an improvement in terms of pacing? What are your overall thoughts on it?
I mean, the problem with the first game was, they threw a lot at you at the beginning, I thought. And that's kind of where it kind of led everyone astray. In the sequel, what I've seen and, what I've experienced is it's more fleshed out. You're getting, you get to follow your own pace. So if you want to, go for the critical path, you can follow the critical path. But if you want to go to the side quests, they're a lot more interesting this time. And that's what I think is one of the biggest changes they've had in the sequel. A lot of the side quests this time, they're more of, I would say, like the Tales of Tsushima or the God of War side quests. Like a lot of them play into the main arc. And that's a big improvement. I mean, that kind of starts introducing, secondary characters that you'll see later down the line and people who Aloy starts to trust and, build relationships with. And
that's awesome.
That's a big change for this series. And that's where I think Guerrilla's improved a lot. They took a lot of feedback from the first game and you can see it. You can see within the first 2 hours, you're starting to see these side quests unlocked that not only give Aloy new relationships, she gets new weapons, she unlocks new traps, new everything. Everything is unlocked in a natural way. Like you're meeting these people in these new cities, and they're like, hey, here, I'll scratch your back, you'll scratch mine.
Now, are these quests kind of like fetch questy? Because that's what a lot of complaints on the original ones was. That's like these quests aren't memorable, not just because some of the characters are a little bland, but because what I'm doing isn't that interesting. Has that changed with this game?
There are still a couple, but the reward is worth it. Guerrilla promised, better rewards this time, and I have only done, I don't know, I maybe 3 or 4 really tedious fetch quests this time, but like the result was worth it. I mean, I ended up getting great armor. I got all this experience just getting to the place where I needed to go. On the way there, you're racking up new sights, new vistas. You're seeing the world, but it's not as tedious, and that's kind of why I think the biggest improvement is just it's the structure. Everything's been heightened.
That's awesome. And just to go off the main story for what you experienced thus far, have they also listened there in terms of how the story's structured? Again, because I don't see the pacing issues, but from what I hear, it's like, they didn't like when they were Kid Ellie, or people thought like the middle was kind of subdued. Right. From what you've experienced thus far, are you feeling like it's being paced well? Yeah.
From the opening moments, it picks right up. You don't really, get they don't hold your hand right into the beginning. You start with Aloy 6 months down the line. She's in the middle of a mission, and it's not like she's trying to, build a bow or get some armor. She's trying to find out what's causing the red blight to, start taking over the land. And she's really worried. And her character is you're starting to see the wear on her mind. She's starting to get, she's very irksome. She's quick to anger. She's a lot more invested in this because who she is in the story is she's technically the savior, and that holds a toll on her, and you start to see unravel her.
And let's talk about the side characters just quickly without naming, we know Erend and whatnot, but like the one other thing was like in the first game, we knew Aloy. They did a great job of telling that story. When it comes to the side characters, how are the facial animations to them, their animations in general, and do they serve up to be not, of course, as memorable as Aloy, but a worthy improvement on the original?
100%. You can see the improvement in the technology. I can't confirm it. Like, I just can't remember if it's still the same engine that's powering the game, but it looks and feels a lot more authentic to the characters. They don't have that robotic animation. I know that was a big concern. People just felt too like an AI, but no, it's a lot better. The characters, of course, like they feel like realized people, and you can see that through their animations, the way they talk, they hold their bodies. Like there is a lot of work that went in behind the scenes to improve all these characters.
That's awesome. Now let's get to what the people really came here for. They came here for combat. I love Horizon's combat, and again, I'm very biased here. Horizon's one of my favorite games of all time. So, you know, I expect range combat to still be solid, but I think the big question here is melee combat, because as much as I loved Horizon's combat, melee was incredibly simplistic.
It was, and that's one of the things that really turned me off in the first game is it was just kind of like a mash the button and, you know, kind of hope you survive.
Yeah.
In the sequel, it's a lot better. Like you don't start off with a lot. You still have your basic, you know, heavy and light attacks, but as you start leveling up, getting skill points, you start unlocking combos, you start unlocking modifiers. It feels like they've taken every criticism about the battle system and just finessed it just a little bit. It's been fine-tuned. It's not a massive improvement, but it's enough to service the story. It feels natural to the character. There's still heavy moments where, you know, you can feel her animation. They're still heavy when she hits. And that's okay. But in the general sense, like I found it a lot more fluid. It's easier to combo with ranged traps. There's a couple of new skills and abilities that really make her, you know, like a force to reckon with. And
does that like when we're taking a look at the trees,
right.
Is it more of an in-depth, you know, RPG system, like somewhat of like a Dragon Age? Yeah.
I wouldn't say necessarily Dragon Age. There are a lot more skills. There's 6 trees this time.
Oh wow.
Geez, you get skill points pretty fast. Like by the first 4 or 5 hours, I already had like 15, 20 points stacked into my character. But as I was going to the skill tree, like you start unlocking really good melee skills pretty early, and then you can start unlocking your Valor Surge, which is like the super attack, which, you know, give her like that little it's like a super Saiyan thing. She powers up and she gets stronger, and she can do these things to these machines where I don't ever expect any other character to do what she can do. But just the system itself, it feels eons better. That's the only way I can really describe it. It is on par with, I would say, God of War's combat, and I love God of War's combat.
Wow. Okay. So let's talk about then the variety when we're fighting. The one other criticism of Horizon is when you're fighting humans, there is, you know, it's easy, just shoot in the head and they're done. Right. They were way too simple to kind of engage with and dispatch. How has that improved? I think that was the one thing that I was the most optimistic when I saw the state of play.
So I can't the thing is, I didn't really revisit the first game as much as I wanted to before this review. So I can't remember everything, but in terms of the sequel, there are enemies who have, you know, armor plates. You can't just one shot kill them anymore. Like their head has armor, and you have to, you know, scan it with your focus and see where all the enemies' weak points are. And sometimes the arrow just doesn't cut it. You have to start looking into your arsenal and see what else could assist in getting these people down. The Tenketh, the new tribe, they're brutal and to fight, and they'll gang up on you when you're, you know, in one-on-one. You'll start seeing them surround you. And when they do that, your only options are to get out of the way and start.
Now, is it kind of like Assassin's Creed-esque, where it's like there's 9 guys that surround you, but there's only like maybe 1 or 2 that kind of try to rope and dope you?
I wouldn't say it was like that. It's a lot more balanced than that, because that's just overkill. But like, I would be facing off with like a tribe clansman who's in charge of a camp, and him and 2 other guys would gang up on me. And that's kind of where I thought it was enough, because 3 people in that scenario, like they're strong. Like they're not just low level, you know, cannon fodder.
Yeah.
But you have to start using your tools. I mean, you could cheese the first game a lot. Everything you can do is cheese. In this game here, if you're not using your focus to scan body parts, see what every machine's weakness is, and use it, you're not going to survive very long in this game. There's only so much combat can do, right? You have to start planning, being strategic.
That's awesome.
Everything
now let's get to the thing that everybody wants to talk about: the machines.
Oof.
Fighting them, the variety. We've seen a whole lot. I saw a robot monkey in the trees. We saw the tremor tusk. How is it, man? What was your favorite enemy to kind of dispatch? What was the improvements there that you felt?
There's one enemy within the first hour that I think was a standout for me, just because it plays into the narrative, right? Like Aloy's on this mission and she encounters this. If you remember Final Fantasy VII, if you ever played, they had like that large giant serpent. I think it was.
Yes.
There's like a snake-like machine that looks just like that, and it's stalking through the area that we were trying to go through this mission, and keeps popping its head up. And Aloy is sensing that it's like we can't wait too long. We have to either get this mission done now, or we're gonna have to face this thing. And it's pretty much ends where, as you would expect, right? They end up getting jumped by this snake, and you have to fight it as it's going from like tent pole to tent pole, and it's throwing boulders at you, and you have to start looking with your focus. That's where I think the biggest improvement with the machines they're a lot more they're versatile. Like there's a lot more layers to them this time. You can knock off pieces to them, and that's great, but what do you do with those pieces? You can't just let them go flying. Like there's bits you pick up, you can start crafting electrical arrows that build into their weaknesses.
Like on the spot?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
It's a lot more intuitive. Like there's a lot of, it's more strategic. Like there's just so many more viable options than button mashing this time and throwing arrows and crafting them on the fly. You should be using your whole arsenal against these machines.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Sorry. In terms of like, just like, there's so many more, I guess you could say there's different, like there's variations. There's mammals there's amphibious ones. There's like everything you can think of. They've added so many variations of these machines. Like you can find maybe 5 or 10 different variations of like the stalker. And they've improved on every single one of them. They look fantastic.
That's awesome. And I love what you said when it comes to like, because the original game was just like, just huck and chuck your arrows at it, break the armor, get your armor piercing. Then when the armor piercing's gone, just, shoot at them with the flame or whatnot.
Exactly.
The one thing that I saw in the previews as well was like using their abilities against them. Yep. Like I saw one of the like raptors has like this poisonous gas, and you actually, if you get the critical shot at that point, the gas just bursts and it starts just going all over the place.
Exactly. So yeah, that falls into a lot of them. So like that was a bristleback. So bristleback, they're kind of like, they're like bulls. And my first encounter of them was within a quarry where Aloy has to clear out the quarry just to get this tribe through the bridge to get to their job site. And to fight these things, the first time I cheesed it, obviously. I mean, I had to try and see what I could get out of there. But then Aloy's like, what if they have poison on their backs? Why don't if I break those off and then use them against them? And then she does is she starts shooting the arrows at those, and they start building a meter that goes around her arrows. And what it does is basically once it gets filled, it explodes, like you said, and it causes area of effect damage, and it basically clears the area a lot more simple than having to go in there and just take them out physically.
That's awesome. I really can't wait to see how the combat shakes out for me personally, because what you're saying has me so excited, because I want it to be a little bit more strategic. And when it comes to the combat, it also kind of bleeds into the level design as well, because I felt like sometimes in Horizon, I didn't get the chance to plat out my attacks with my traps, or, didn't get to land the mine just where I wanted it to. How does, when you're fighting a big monster or going into a abandoned camp, how does the level design around you kind of lend itself?
It's familiar. Like if you did the first game, like there are still those stealth sections where you go through the grass. There is a lot more verticality this time, just because you get like the glider, and you can start planning vertically this time. So if you want to lay a trap and then go up, use your pullcaster to just jump up into the air, and you can do range attacks from the air now. And then you've seen it. I think they showed it in the state of plays where she like pulls casts up into the air, fire a bunch of bomb arrows, and then land safely away, and then sees the machine fall into her trap. So there's a lot more. It's a bigger playground this time. There's just a lot. It's the versatility of the game. Like, it gives you the tools to be a kid and just see what connects and what toys break.
That's awesome. Now let's get into the open world. You know, I could already imagine the headlines. Yeah. This game, it has an open world. There's some climbing. So how Breath of the Wild is it, man?
It's a 10 out of 10 on the Breath of the Wild. It is PlayStation's Breath of the Wild. But in all honesty, no. It feels more lived in. The world, like the settlements, they feel like, you know, there's inhabitants, like you're walking through the world and there's always something to look at. Not in terms of, you know, battles or anything, but there's like maybe a nice vista to your left as you're walking through a couple valleys, and there's campments where you can see people just, you know, huddling together, surviving, and they're just talking, and you can walk through them and you can listen to what they're saying, and it basically keeps you busy, but in a good way. Like there's not there's not a burden of going to get that treasure chest like some of the Assassin's Creed maps. Like, I don't know if you remember Assassin's Creed. Yeah. That map gave me anxiety, but this one here, it's more natural. Like you're going to do an errand. It is basically like it's a sub mission, so it's not very important. It's like a fetch quest, but it basically, like you get to these areas, you complete these errands for people, but you're learning about the world, like some of the tribes that live in these pockets around the map, and it's built in a way that feels natural to the story because you're going out west, right? So basically your whole map starts in the east, and then you start moving to the west, so you start seeing more and more as you're going west, and it really builds on that, going to that forbidden land.
That reminds me of Witcher in a lot of ways, where like you're looking at this war zone, and then just not even a mile ahead of you, you see these people that are survivors. And people that are wondering, hey, can we pass this ravine to get to safety, and trying to talk to the guard and weasel your way in? Is that the similarities that I'm striking true?
They're very similar in that regard. I wouldn't say they're on par. I mean, I feel like they're inspired by it. I mean, it's hard not to see that after playing both games, but it does offer to that crowd, if that's what you're looking for. Basically, if you want, you can make the game what you want. So if you want more of a Witcher style thing, you can do that. If you want to do, you know, just a critical game right to the end, you don't have to worry about learning about the world. You can just find out how the Blight began and ended. You can just, you know,
feel like I'm gonna get lost in it, because I love that. Like, I'm walking around and I'm just like, I'm overhearing something from someone, you know. The one thing that I do love in a good old open world game is when I see a point, if I see a mountain, a peak even, I want to climb it. And you know, God forbid it rains in said game that we were just alluding to a while ago. How is the traversal through this world?
I know that there was talks when this game was released, you know, or announced, that it would be like a Breath of the Wild climb, and I wish it really was, but it isn't. Guerrilla instead has done this thing where it's a streamlined path. So like we've seen in the state of play, where it's got the guided yellow cautionary, and I love it. I really think it adds to the character, right? Because she's living in this world where all this technology that's lost is giving her the second chance to save her people. So you see this path that paints how to get to up and over the mountains, and it feels natural. The climbing's been improved to the point where there's not a lot of air to fall, or there's not a lot of way to just, you know, fall.
Is it kind of like Ghost of Tsushima in a way where it kind of feels like, you can't climb every mountain, but where you get that trail, it kind of feels like an obstacle course to the top of the mountain.
Exactly. So it's kind of like it is like, so if you've ever done like a rock, you know, those rock climbing mountains, you know, those ones you do at the gyms, it's got that path, so you can kind of see where the path is going. It's built into the systems. Like the world it's natural to the point where it makes sense.
All right. Awesome. That's what I want to hear. This sounds like everything that I was expecting this game to be is what it is. And listen, I would talk to you about like, oh, the graphics, is it pretty? But we've seen it. It looks beautiful. It looks astounding. It sounds incredible. And the art style is awesome as well. If I'm a PlayStation 5 owner though, is this because we've been kind of, it's also played on the PS4. Is this a true next-gen game? Does this feel like a true next-gen game?
In one word, yes. I honestly think it feels like a tentpole game for the PlayStation 5. It is a showpiece. And the only reason I say that is I've played it. I mean, I know what they've done with it, right? I had my doubts, right? Because it's a cross-gen game, and we've seen how some of those games can look. And I'm not saying they're bad.
Right.
But
because Miles Morales is still beautiful, but like I didn't see the visual jump going for 4 out of 5. It
was very limited, I thought. And I think it was more just character textures and stuff like that. But this game here, there's just it feels like it wasn't developed together. Like it feels like they're a separate game. Like they're obviously the same game, but like
right.
They didn't have the same designs, like or decisions of how to make the game. Like this is a PlayStation 5 game, this is a PlayStation 4 game. This is what you'll get on this system. And this is what you're getting on a brand new console that has all these new improvements, right? So like, they're two separate games. I think like they feel that different. Like just I can't say anything else, but it is a tentpole game. I savor awesome, the game. Dude. Let's put I savor and I'm savoring it right now. I want to go back and play just because I love getting lost. I love the photo mode. I've been taking photos of everything just because it's so stunning.
Wow. And last but not leastly, DualSense. We're huge stands here at the trophy room of DualSense.
My favorite thing in the world.
Yes.
Yes. It makes it so immersive. Like I called it a dance, right? Like you're pulling the drawstring and you're hearing the sound of your controller, and it just pairs so well with the music that it feels like you're actually Aloy, right? That the way her footsteps, resonate in the control, or just the sounds of the machines when you're tackling them with your spear, you hear it so clear in the controller, and it pairs with the haptics to the point where it's a cannot miss experience. Like it adds a level of immersion I've never felt before.
Is this Astrobot level good?
I thought it was. I mean, I think that is the pinnacle of DualSense controller, right? Like
Is it even dethroning Astro, or you're like, no, that's crazy?
The only one that can dethrone Astro is the next Astro game, I think. But,
Fair enough.
But
Fair enough.
For this one here, it's on par with Returnal for me. I love Returnal's
same
DualSense implementation. It was on par with that.
Okay.
And I mean, everything about it, like just listen to when you're playing, listen to how the controller reacts. So if you're talking to someone in the settlements, you hear the crowds, like you hear them gossiping in the controller. It surrounds my room. Like that 3D audio really helps sell this world.
Excellent. Now, we usually have a review score system for this game. I don't want to sound like a complete stan, but we usually do it through trophy levels. Right. So is this an avoid? Is this a bronze? Is this a silver trophy, a gold trophy, or of course the platinum? You must have this right here, right now. Go pay that 60, go pay that 70 for this game.
I'm going to give it a platinum.
There you go.
It's a game that you want to play. It's not something that it doesn't feel like a hobby or a chore. Like it's a game you want to get lost in. You want to learn more about these characters. You want to learn more about this world, how you can take down these monsters that are invading and destroying everything you know. And it is a platinum level game to me. There's nothing I necessarily find negative about it. There's very small things that I just didn't like. Like there's a couple of puzzles that kind of just threw me off.
But those are just like,
That's
it doesn't take away from the overall experience.
It doesn't bring the experience down. It's frustrating, but once you solve it, it's just like, okay, well now I get to the next story beat and I can learn what happens next. And it serves the purpose.
Awesome. That said, that has been the Trophy Room Reviews, Horizon Forbidden West. Bobby, thank you so much for coming on, for talking to me about Horizon. Where can people find you on the Twitter space and your website, my good sir?
Twitter is just B Pashalitis. I mean, if you can link it in the,
of course, it's in the description.
My name is hard to spell, so a lot of people get it wrong. So it's Pashalitis, which is Greek. But you can find me on Twitter. Consolecreatures.com is my website. We are Canadian media outlets, so we kind of just focus on Canadian news, a lot of the world news, obviously, but we kind of focus on just honest opinions and reviews and trying to keep it as neutral as possible. We really love video games.
Same.
That's our mission, is just talk about games.
Yeah. Yeah. And Bobby, thank you so much. And you can find him and his website, all the links down below in the description. And so with all that said, and with all that out of the way, everybody, if you like this video, please hit like, share, subscribe. It really does help us out, grows this channel and this big, beautiful family that we call home. And make sure you tune into the Trophy Room each and every Thursday, where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. So with all that said, and with all that out of the way, keep your wits about you, keep hunting, and keep playing PlayStation. See you guys.